ready for the revolution. It's coming to you now. It's coming to you now. You're gonna sing an evolution. It'll never bring us down. No, they'll never bring us down. Get ready for the revolution. Get ready for the revolution. It's coming to you now. It's coming to you now. You're gonna sing an evolution. It'll never bring us down. No, they'll never bring us down. Get ready for the revolution.
Good morning or good evening, depending where in the world you may be. I'm Mel Power and welcome to the Bookkeeper Revolution live stream show. Today I am excited. Well, I'm always usually excited, right? But I'm particularly excited today because I have with me, who I'm going to bring on in just a moment, my partner, not partner in crime, but partner in advisory, Andrew Robertson. And Andrew and I are the creators or co-creators and founders of the brand spanking new The Art of Advisory School. And we're going to be stepping you through today what it's all about, what we cover, and how you can really start to get that valuable service into your business and serving your clients. So I'm not going to say any more because I'm going to bring Andrew in. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I've got my coffee. I think I'm just going to have to surprise everybody by having a glass of wine one of these mornings to make sure that our US people don't feel left out.
Yes. I'll join you on that one.
So I'm based in the Hunter Valley and Andrew's in Wollongong, and we're both in, surprise, surprise, lockdown. What week is it for you?
Oh, I think I had a few weeks before it that I didn't travel, so I think I'm in week 10, which means that I'm in week 13 of not being away from home, which is very unusual for me.
I'm not far behind you, but hey, our friends in Canada had nearly 14 months, so I know they've just come out. Monique Gannon, if you're listening, yay, celebrate. Monique's one of our favourite advisors.
And we also forget our lovely Goldie is in the Philippines, has been locked down for over 2 years now.
Yes. So we're here to chat about probably our well, I'd say it's your favourite topic. My favourite topic is definitely sales and marketing, but this one's got to be pretty close to my heart. But I want to kick off with really talking about what actually is advisory, because it's something that's been thrown around the industry. And I know when I was at Xero, it was a conversation I led very actively. You know, you've got to move to advisory. You've got to move. What in your mind, Andrew, what actually is it as a, definition?
Advisory to me is providing more than reports to your clients. So when we provide reports, often we spend a lot of time in going through and trying to analyze, trying to explain the numbers to our clients. Whereas for me, advisory is more about what are the numbers showing for the client. So it's advising them or giving them the insights, because we have a really good knowledge of numbers, or a lot of bookkeepers have an even better knowledge around what's happening transactionally in the business. They see the cash not coming in or the cash not going out too fast. So it's sharing those insights to help the client advance themselves, making better decisions or taking better actions that result in better profitability and better cash flow. So for me, advisory is more about sharing insights so that the owners can make better quality decisions.
Thank you. That's a really good explanation. I think one of the really profound things that was in that, Andrew, was really about not just giving somebody a set of reports. And I see a lot of this in the industry where we think, okay, we've got to give reports to the client, and that's all well and good. But if the client, I mean, how many times would the clients actually open that email and look at the reports? I mean, I know I never really did.
No, they're too busy doing what they do very well, their technical
Yep.
skill. Yeah, they're too busy running their business to look at paperwork.
Yep. So the other thing I want to kind of I'm going to go down this rabbit hole a little bit more, actually, because I think it's going to be good to unpack it. If we look at advisory at broad terms, what if we would go down further and actually start to break that out? Now, I know one of the other terms that I've seen bandied around the industry a lot is definitely CFO or virtual CFO. Is there a difference, do you believe or see, between a business advisor and a virtual CFO?
Oh, definitely. Yes, definitely. A CFO, and if we talk in virtual CFO, which is effectively what bookkeepers and accountants are, because they're not in the business every day, so they can only be virtual.
Yep.
Effectively, using our knowledge around the understanding of transactions and the understanding of numbers and how to reconcile, using those skills to put a report in front of a client is what a CFO is. To analyze deeper down into it and say, well, why are those numbers performing in that way? Why does the result happen? So drilling down into it. And that's what most accountants and bookkeepers love to do, is look deep into the numbers, understand what's happening.
Yep.
We can be methodical in where $1 out, and we don't like that. So a lot of owners
Bank
don't
fees, general expenses.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of owners all they see is, where's my cash? They don't understand what's going on. So a virtual CFO is actually using your skill set to help an owner understand what are the numbers, how do I get deep down into the numbers to find out where the real problem is. This is why I think insights are so more important than solutions. It's because a lot of owners already have the solutions. They just don't have the information. So a CFO is providing that digital data information.
Yep. So let's go kind of to the other end of the spectrum. Let's talk about business advisory, because the kind of term advisor, I believe, is encompassing all of that. And I think that we do need to break it down. So let's shift to that end now, Andrew. What are your thoughts on the term business advisor? How does that compare to what a virtual CFO does?
I think a virtual CFO's job is basically to provide the numbers and to be able to explain those numbers in detail. So going in deeper into those numbers. Whereas what I see as an advisor is actually putting options in front of a client for possible ways that they could get them out of their situation. So let me talk, I guess, in a practical term. When a client says to you, I've got cash flow problems, the very first thing that a basic CFO will do is go, yes, well, let's set up a debtors system. Let's make sure that you're collecting your money fast enough. Let's make sure we track your spending and make sure that's, within a budget, those sort of things. Whereas an advisor might go, well, let's have a look at pricing. Are we pricing
Yeah.
wrong? Are we making profit on all of the jobs that we're like all the services we're providing or all the products we're selling. Let's go and actually see where the real problem is and fix that rather than firefight. So if that's a good analogy between, an advisor is more on that angle of saying, well, let's fix the real problem here. Let's not just band-aid it or do a few quick fixes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, and also I have to add one more thing in there. Probably my most favorite thing is that I'd say advisors also look at activity, and sales and marketing activity would have
Yeah.
to be one of those levers.
Yes.
If cash flow is poor. And often I think that as accountants and bookkeepers, we kind of miss that part of the equation as well, because it's not something that we would normally look at, right? We would normally be looking at how can we fix what's going on in the numbers, whereas the advisor will take that a step further and go, well, okay, what's some of the activities that are not happening that need to happen to generate
That's an
results?
awesome way of explaining it. It's an advisor looks at the activity of the business and looks to change the activity or help the owner make the decision to change activity. A CFO can only provide the data because the activity's already happened.
Yeah. I think there's one other thing that I want to add in here as well is that, so for example, obviously Andrew and I, are running this business together. And there's times where I've been right deep in it, and Andrew's been able to look at things objectively and go, hang on, Mel, what's happening here? What activities need to happen, or do we need to do this and do we need to do that? Now, even though I have those skills, often when you're in it or the owner's in it, it's too close and the emotional part of us gets involved. And sometimes we just can't, see the tree through the forest, so to speak. And so that role of the advisor is often to kind of look from a helicopter view
Mm.
down and often drag the owner back out of the weeds a bit to go, hang on, let's look at this more objectively. Whereas the owner's in it, we're tired, we're overworked, we're kind of in the weeds all the time, and sometimes we don't make great decisions when we're down in the operations of things.
Yeah. As you know, I'm very, very strong on building a methodology to be able to roll this out.
Yep.
And one of the key things of that methodology is vision. So most business owners don't have that opportunity to sit down and actually plan something out. They're too busy on the run making their business work. And as an advisor, you can very easily force them, in fact, by the fact that they join your service, is sitting down and actually planning things out. So that helicopter view, you come from the outside, you show, you're able to see things that they're not, but also you're able to stop the owner for a minute and say, just let's think about this. Let's plan this out.
Yep. When we're too close to it, we don't always make the right decisions. And then, you'll either do too much of something or not enough of something else, and it becomes unbalanced. And I think the whole process of being in business is because we want to create that vehicle that is going to deliver us what we want in our life. And I know a lot of us go forth into business where we say, I did this because I want to have more time, which equals freedom, right?
Hmm.
Not just time freedom, but financial freedom. And so what happens as business owners, we get stuck in the doing, and then we get focused on, I've got to pay the tax man, right? We
Yeah.
get worried about compliance. So all of those things snowball. And so where I see that the advisor role is just so important, Andrew. It's giving that, it's almost like taking, the goggles off of the
Hmm.
eyes of the business owner and saying, hey, here's a set of glasses so you've got real clarity and real vision over really what's going on. And sometimes it's hard for business owners because we have to actually also take a look at ourselves. And so often that role of a business advisor, it isn't just about numbers. It's actually about developing relationships with people and coaching as well in there.
Hmm.
Definitely there's an aspect of coaching.
Yeah, and it just brings me to think that why bookkeepers and accountants are in the best position to offer this, because the banking system doesn't provide this. And
No.
the business owner doesn't feel comfortable about sharing everything with the person that may be in the future lending the money or currently has lent the money. A
Exactly.
bookkeeper or an accountant sits right in the seat where you're outside their family, friends in most cases. Yes, we have relationships, but we're outside those close friendships. So therefore, they feel that we are actually only people they can talk to about a lot of what
Yeah.
goes on for them. So that comfort of not just a sounding board, but somebody that they can share, and they'll often share more with us than they will their key manager or their business partner because they need an outlet. So this
Yeah.
sounding board and someone to talk to, like it's very lonely in business if you work for yourself. You've got to solve all the problems every day. So having a good advisor and one that you trust is paramount to a great, healthy, successful business.
I think a lot of the time for business owners too, it doesn't necessarily have to be, that you're talking to them every single day. A lot of the time it's just for that business owner knowing that you're there. It's that sense of comfort and security to know that somebody's in your court and that if there is something that comes up, you can jump on the phone and go, hey, this is going on and I need to run it past you. And the truth is that there are more now than ever, I think, in this pandemic economy too. There are small business owners just need that support. It isn't just about making sure that the compliance is done. And hey, we know that's got to be done, but it doesn't necessarily have to be done in the same place. I know lots of people that are doing the advisory work over the top of existing bookkeepers and accountants that go in a very narrow way and are there to
Mm.
support. And I know you've done a lot of that sort of work for a long period of time, Andrew.
I think it's getting close to 25 years, which
Yeah,
is starting to show the grey hair. But
yeah,
the one thing that I've learnt through my journey is they don't want you to be there every day. They actually want you to be at a distance from them.
yep,
That
yep,
doesn't mean that does mean that they do want you to understand their business. So the old face-to-face sitting in their premises works really well because you can see what's happening with the activities. But don't underestimate the strength and power of pulling them out of their business so that they get that hour or 2 hours of freedom away from their business where they can talk. So a lot of business owners really value you as being an independent to them. And
yep.
I call it the tough discussions. We're all very good to say to people that,
Mm,
hey, you're doing really well. Your sales are going up. You've done an excellent job, Mel, at all the marketing. But you also have to have those tough discussions. And whilst clients appreciate it, they absolutely love it when you're able to hammer home a really hard question. Like, is that salesperson actually the best person? Oh, it's my leading salesperson. But look at his job profitability. Every job we do, it's lower than anybody else. Either get him to start pricing right, or you're better off without him. Your other salespeople who don't sell as much. And these are
yep.
discussions I've had over the years where, I have terminated the best seller and then next minute they're more profitable.
Funny that the numbers don't lie. They
Correct.
really, they really tell the story. So what I want to sort of talk a little bit about now is I think we've established the foundations of advisory and how there's essentially two parts to it. There's virtual CFO and then there's the actual business advisor and strategist and coach and mentor and kind of all
Mm.
goes in there. How can you actually look to bring these services into your existing business? And one of the things I know that you and I talk about a lot about this is that it does have the potential to essentially double your revenue
Mm.
without even having to go out and, get new clients or go to market or hire marketing agencies or whatever it might be. And I know that traditionally accounts and bookkeepers, We think marketing and sales, it's not our favorite thing unless you're crazy like me. But I want to delve down into that a little bit because that's a pretty big claim to think
Yeah.
just by doing this one thing, it can actually increase my revenue. What are your thoughts on that?
Mel, I've been working with predominantly professional firms, accountants, lawyers, bookkeepers, for just ticked over 15 years. So I had my own accounting practice, as you know, and did transition that to do advisory, and it was 50% of our revenue when I left that firm.
Mm.
So it's got the potential, but I always say to anybody that's interested in going down this road is that you've got at least 30% extra income in your existing client base without even needing to market and bring new people in. Why? Because most of your clients at some point have gone through some trigger point that requires advice or better quality numbers and analysis. And that's what they're prepared to pay for. They're prepared to pay for the insights and as we spoke there before, the sounding board, the vision, the plans. They're happy to pay for all of that because that adds more value to them than any of your compliance work. Yes, with compliance, we've got to comply. We've got to stick with law. They know that. But anything about they will pay you a higher value, and they're more than willing to part with cash. So how do you make this work? You've got to create a methodology. Now, you've got a different term for that, Mel. What do you call yours when we're building methodologies? Because it might relate more to the bookkeepers.
I think it's more about building a solution, and it's almost about you're productizing your business really. And I think a lot of the times we don't think of it like that, but it is. Even though it's a service, you're actually building the components up that make that product that you're going to deliver that is specifically designed to achieve an outcome for a client. I think the
And
methodologies. I think I'm warming to that one, Andrew.
Yeah, and the reason that I asked you to explain that is that those on live here today with us are probably thinking, well, I don't have perhaps the people to deliver this. Maybe I don't have the skills to deliver this. And what I've found over 15 years working with these industries is everybody has a genius. They have skills that complement this. And when you step them through a process to build that out, as you said, productizing, or for me, creating that methodology, you actually find that the majority of it can be delivered by your team.
Yep.
And all you've got to do is stick to your genius and deliver that piece. And you'll always find a methodology that adds value to your clients, because your clients are there already with you for a reason, because you're often very, very good at something that they're not.
Yeah. And there's that trust there. And I also want to sort of just explain here. I know Andrew's talking about teams, but if you're just on your own, you're a sole operator and you might have a VA helping you or a part-time bookkeeper. Once you actually get these skills in place and the methodology, as Andrew has explained, you can still have people assist you with bringing this information together. It's a process and it's a workflow, just like you would have in any of your other pieces of accounting work or bookkeeping work. And this then leads me into probably one of the most commonly asked questions and statements that I hear, particularly from bookkeepers, Andrew, and a lot of them say to me is, well, I'm scared of giving advice, or I don't have a public practice certificate, or I'm not a CPA. And I want to bust that myth right now and say those things do not matter, because there are business owners out there that know how to do this, exactly what we're just talking about, because they've learnt to do it. And a lot of them are doing it intrinsically because they've had to learn. There's also an awful lot that aren't, which are the people that need our help. But I want to sort of get your thoughts on that, Andrew, around, kind of some of that fear that I think is stopping people from actually learning the process and putting their hand up to say, I want to do this.
Yes, it's a hard question to answer because I sat in that chair myself at some point.
Yep.
So when I
Me
decided that
too.
moving from a compliance-based practice to an advisory practice, I had no idea what I was going to do. I actually didn't even know if I could advise a client to help. One of our clients was one of the biggest private companies in New South Wales. I'm like, what do I know that he's going to even want other than tax and BASs and compliance and bookkeeping? What could I give that he doesn't already know? He's the largest private company in New South Wales. And what I found from going through that journey is two things. Most consultants / coaches, and I'll only talk about consultants and coaches, actually have never worked in the industries that they coach or consult to. They've actually never sat in a chair and actually done it. They've attended that. There's coaching organizations out there that you sit a 6-week course and you pay your money to join their franchise and you become a coach. And some of those coaches are hugely successful.
Yes.
And some of those coaching, the largest coaching company in Australia, in the world, actually started from Australia. And yet he was an accountant. So I'm talking about Brad Sugars.
Yeah,
He was
coaching.
an accountant, action coaching. He was an accountant. Well, he grew to the largest in the world, and less than 10% of his coaches were accountants.
Yep.
They were all from other backgrounds, and some of them had never coached before. So when you're looking at what you can do, you've actually got to draw down on what your genius is and focus on that. So some of you will be really, really good at accountability, for example. I've found that people are really good on the basics of HR, the compliance side of HR.
Yes.
That's advisory.
That's
You don't have to be a
that's a
HR.
massive area.
Yeah, you don't have to be the HR consultant that solves the problems, but you can set up the systems and put all the things in place. Same with systemization. If you're really good on systems yourself, go and help your clients set up their systems and processes. That's a wonderful thing about advisory. It's not black and white. It's doing things that help your business become either more efficient, better planned, or better at execution. The rest of it is just what we make up. Meaning what do we put together as a genius and put it in front of somebody?
And, that advisory piece isn't just, in accounting. I mean, I know in our marketing school, we deliver the ideas and the strategy and the creativity. And then, we'll work with other media buyers and agencies that are engaged by individuals and say, right, this is what we're doing. And they go do the doing. And it's often a similar situation with what you're doing. And that's in the accounting world. And that's the part of being an advisor and a strategist.
Oh, and Mel, it's your area of expertise, as you said earlier. This is mine. That's yours. I look at marketing and marketing and selling, and I'm already shaking.
But the thing is though, it all does come back to numbers. And I think marketing and sales are just as data driven as what anything else is. And I think once you get your head around that and understand that as an advisor to a business, it's a light bulb moment.
What I've
So
learned from you, Mel, around marketing is that it's planning and replanning and planning and replanning and planning and replanning. I look
and
at some of the
testing.
and that's probably a better way of saying it, because I see you test something and then you go, okay, is it working or not working? Let's stop that because it's not working. Let's do more of this because it is. And then next minute we're getting the leads and sales. You've done that for me in my business. That to me is a methodology. It's a way of doing it. So what you can learn marketing, you can learn selling, you can learn to be a CFO, you can learn to be an advisor.
100%. 100%. So talking about learning, surprise, surprise, Andrew and I have put our own methodology together, and we actually launched our School of the Art of Advisory a few months back now. And we've already had some amazing students that are coming through. And I wanted to use this opportunity today to actually show you what our methodology is. So if you're somebody that's going, I just don't think I can do this, I don't know what to do. Well, we've actually broken it down to show you an actual step-by-step process of what you do need to do to make that happen. I'm going to just actually share my screen here for a moment. And Andrew, you can step us through essentially what our Art of Advisory School covers. And it's a 12-week journey, and it's a pretty interesting 12 weeks. Step us through what we cover, Andrew.
With like every service you're trying to build, or if you're trying to let's take an analogy of building a house, you've got to make sure that the foundations or the fundamentals are there first. So that's module 1. And what we're looking at there is the data, how you design it, and then how do you put the reports together. Week 2 is about analysing. So what are you putting the words behind what the numbers are? And then week 3 is your client meetings, how to prepare, how to share insights, and how to keep accountability. To me, they're the 3 fundamentals.
Yep.
Then, of course, we do need to get into the diagnostic, that diagnostic financial professional. What do we need to do? We've got to create certainty for the client, and that involves predicting the future. So we talk about budgets and cash flows and how to set them up and how to run them. Week 5 is success measures. What KPIs and ratios? What's the 3 top KPIs in all businesses that we should be watching? And what are those ratios that really tell us what's going on within the industries? Week 6, success measures. What's best practice? How do we set up best practice so that the client understands what they need to be doing to make more efficient and effective decisions themselves every day? And then monitoring. What is the fundamentals of profit versus cash? How do we actually explain that to our clients, and how do we monitor it so that they know what's going on? Then from there, we're really driving into really going to take another level jump up and say, okay, let's move into the virtual CFO. How do we control cash? How do you actually demonstrate to your clients how they're managing cash? Accountability, as I said there earlier, is that a strong accountability around job profitability. And then how do you introduce team performance accountability? And then what levers and drivers do you need to pull in order to show what's going on? So if you, like we said there earlier, how do you test with your marketing? How do you actually know when to say stop and when to say go? So these lead and lag indicators and what to watch and monitor. And of course, the last one in the levers and drivers is monitoring activity and driving an outcome. So it's a very quick 12 weeks, and it's a very, very intense but enjoyable, challenging way to learn. Set the fundamentals up, get into the diagnostic, and then start to actually get results for your clients.
I think the thing that I love most about this process too, it's actually applying this to your own business. But what we do is get you to actually have live tests, like with real clients. So picking clients and using their data and starting to learn. So it's not just textbook stuff. This is actually going through the process and bringing different sets of actions to us where we go, right, okay, this is what this looks like, this is what we need to do, or change this or change that. So it's actually real life experience. It's not going to school and getting a certificate at the end, or going through some self-paced program with a weekly Q&A. This is full on live actual coaching We do this process with very small groups. We only have 20 people through at a time. So it's really nice and structured, but it's very small. So you're getting lots of support and attention. So the idea is you come through this at the end of it, you would have already have been actually doing it and giving advice and giving all of that stuff through that 12 weeks. So by the time you come out the end of it, you're like, oh, hey, I've actually already been doing this. So it kind of pushes through that glass ceiling of feeling uncomfortable.
It's a
And you
very
kind of
nurturing environment too. We very heavily encourage you to ask what some call the dumb questions. All those silly
ask
questions.
dumb questions.
Because that's what you need to do. You need to learn. So this is the environment to make all the mistakes in the world, because you're going to get the care and nurture to be able to actually make those mistakes without feeling wrong, instead of sitting in front of your clients and making those mistakes, which I did a lot of when I went through my own journey, making lots of mistakes with clients. Whereas this gives you the opportunity. The second thing is, as you said, Mel, it's really live. Like, you'll get what we call Mel's Muse and Andrew's
Mel's
Rant.
musings.
Musings and Andrew's Rants. These are things which I see within your own business, and we'll give you those because we want you to be more profitable yourself out of this. And the best way to learn is to make the changes to your own business. Then you feel confident about what you're doing with your client. So you actually have to live it. Whether you've got teams, whether you're sitting on your own, I make comments that are often a bit tough. I had one last week, was a very tough conversation with the group. And they're all learned from it. Some of them have had to sit back and take a bit of a reality check, and others have gone, wow, I'm actually starting to see why my business was not performing as well as it should have been, because I'm now at, looking at the numbers in a completely different way.
I'm going to give a little shout out here to our beautiful Janice. Janice, if you're listening, we love you. Janice had a really great example where she made one simple change to the way that she was grouping her chart of accounts, which we're really strong on, about designing, as Andrew said, a methodology that you can use across all of your clients. And she took that to one of her nonprofits, and they were like, wow, like, this is awesome. We understand it. It's much easier to read. And, that was a massive win, massive, massive win. So Janice, thank you for sharing that, and congratulations on being able to help your client in that way. So
we've
what I
also
want to
had
do, sorry, Andrew.
We've got a couple we've also had one of our students receive a referral from one of her very strong
Yes.
clients. So that, they've been, avid fan of one of our students, and this referral came in, and she didn't have a discussion about bookkeeping. She decided she'd have a discussion about what reports do you see every week? What reports do you see monthly? Do you understand the reports? Which was something that I was taking everyone through. And she asked those 3 questions. And the business owner said, I think I need to do more with you than just bookkeeping. So she's at that stage now where she's about to bring on her first virtual CFO client.
It's so exciting.
And living it with us as we build it for her. So very, very exciting.
It is exciting. And I think, the 12 weeks post that, a lot of the questions we get asked, and a lot of our students are going, well, what's next? So once you've got those methodology and skills underway, then you come into our pricing and selling school, where as another 12 weeks, where we actually help you, okay, let's get all your packaging together. Let's get your pricing set. Let's teach you how to, sell this and convert existing clients over, and how to approach new clients. So it's another 12 weeks of getting all of those assets in place. So you've got everything that you need to go forth and conquer and really grow that lovely business, where you're actually becoming that premium service provider, which is where we all want to be in this space right now, and serving businesses that really value and appreciate us.
and you've got the confidence. So that's what we're seeing from our current group, going in and saying, yes, I'm going to take this on. I'm very scared. They're starting to build confidence. So when you get your confidence and we've got your methodology in place, we're then going to take you through the same process for your marketing and selling. So you will always be built from a confidence perspective on this. So that anything you do, you'll do with confidence and with a methodology behind it.
Love it. So Andrew and I do have a little teaser for you. So if you are interested in finding out more about our Art of Advisory school, then if you come into our Facebook group, and if you're in our Facebook group already and you're watching this, we are going to be making the very first module live and free in our Facebook group. Go to the guides section. It's going to be all there. So you're going to be able to see what it's like, what we're going to be teaching, get a taste of it, to see if this is exactly what you think is that you want to do, right? Because it isn't for everybody. Not everybody wants to move into the world of virtual CFO and advisory, and that's completely okay. So this is going to give you a little bit of an opportunity to understand what we're going to do and what we're going to set up and what we're going to cover. So what you want to do is just click on the link below, join the Facebook group, answers a couple of questions in there. And if you come in, we'll welcome you in, go to the guide section, and you'll find that the training is there. Plus, we've got a couple of little worksheets for you to go with it. Pop any questions you've got in. So Andrew, myself, and Anna and our team are all in there to support you. We'd love to know what your thoughts are and what your plans are for how you really want to roll this out and support your clients in the future. So that's kind of brought us to the end of our live stream today. I know we've gone double the amount of time we normally do, but this is a topic that Andrew and I are really passionate about. So I'm going to hand over to you for some closing Andrew's rants or words of wisdom.
I liked what you said, Mel, in regards this is not for everybody. You really need to be passionate about this. If you're passionate about numbers or you're passionate about really helping your clients at another level, then this is for you. If you're quite content where you're at and what you're doing, then it's not for you. You've got to really want this because it's a learn, we're teaching you live as we go. So the passion needs to show for you to get the results. But I know that the results come from this. I live it. My clients have lived it over the last 15 years. And there's easy double your income in this. And the funny thing about it is, well, it's not funny. It's actually really cool, is that this is higher value. So you'll probably work less and earn more. Because that's what it's done for me and my clients. And I know that this is what's starting to happen for clients in the program at the moment. They're starting to see they can be working less and earning more.
It is amazing. Andrew, thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with me today. And we're going to get to hang out again tomorrow as well with our CFO school crew. We love it. We love it. And, here's the thing. I just want you to know this is not a self-paced program and this is not a Facebook community, right? It's not. We have got completely off that. This is private instructional education, coaching and support from me and Andrew. You get a private Slack community. It's small groups. It's 20 people. It is designed to support you. It's fully eligible for self-assessed CPD. It's tax deductible, all of those sorts of things. So, and what I want you to know, this stuff is applicable no matter where you are in the world. The stuff that we're teaching you is numbers, right? And how to translate those numbers and how to actually use that information to help somebody in business. So it doesn't matter whether you're in Canada, the USA, UK, Serbia. We actually do have a student in Serbia. Australia, New Zealand, doesn't matter. This stuff is, all over the world. So on that note, join the group, come on in there. We'll be uploading the guides very, very shortly and you will be able to come in and access them there. Let us know what you think and how we can help and support you. That's it from us.
Wonderful spending time with you this morning. So good to be here.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes.
Thanks, Andrew.
All right. Ciao,
Bye, everyone.
Bye.